Hey guys, Jimmy here, and welcome back to another video. Last week I had the overwhelming pleasure and quite surreal experience of getting to announce that I'm going to be driving, in real life, in Brick Car this season with Praga. You might have noticed the subtle stickers and t-shirt. And before I get more into this video, I've got to just say a massive thank you to everybody who left a kind comment underneath the announcement video, messaged me on Instagram, on Twitter. I mean, we even made it onto Autosport, which it's so surreal reading an article on Autosport and seeing it be about me. And I even had a fair few race drivers reach out and sort of congratulate me, which was very odd. This whole thing's been very weird, okay? Good, but weird. So yeah, thank you. And I really hope we can make some super fun content around this whole season and the build-up and everything. And that's kind of what this video is today. Because as it stands right now, I have yet to set foot in the real-life R1, which is a little bit scary. So what I've been doing to try and prepare myself the best I can is doing the thing, you know? The thing that I do, the sim thing, with the fake wheel and the bed and shed living. Now, if you aren't familiar with the Praga R1, here's a couple of fun specs for you. The car's powered by a 2-litre Renault engine, which produces on the highest map of boost 380 brake horsepower. And again, that's about the same as my Skyline before it had its new engine, which gives it a sort of similar power to weight as an LMP3 car, which is quite a lot. It also has some rather sexy aero as well, which is said to produce at 130 miles per hour, 1.5 times the body weight of this car. And if you don't know what that means, it means that theoretically at 130 miles an hour, this car could drive along on the ceiling, the aero it produces. Mad. And so far I've put about 1,000 laps into the car in Assetto Corsa. Now the version that comes in Assetto Corsa is actually an old model of the R1. It has a bit less power, a little bit less aero, yada yada yada. But we have a updated physics set from one of the drivers who's tried to make the car a little bit closer to how it drives in reality. And whilst right now we're actually working on a different version of the car for a different simulator, this has been a really nice sort of introduction to what I can expect from the R1. And then once we get our own version of the car done, we can then sort of fine-tune things and really get ready for that first test. So here we are then, in the office, all hunkered down, and if you want a size comparison, that's a Nissan GTR GT3 in front, and you can see how much of a brick that thing is compared to this kind of flat boy that we're driving at the moment. Something that I've noticed, by the way, is that now that I'm trying to prepare for a race and a series, I'm actually being a bit more specific with how I set up the session. So instead of just having like the fastest track possible in the ideal conditions, I try and actually match what it's going to be. It makes a big difference, sometimes seconds a lap. Now it's a standing start, which isn't what Brick Car has. Brick Car has rolling starts. We don't have that option in AC, unfortunately, so we have to just use what we have. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to let the guys in front sort of pull away a little bit, because they like to bunch up a little bit at the start, because we have a range of different cars in here. You'll see in front of me I had a GTR, a Ferrari, GT2 car on the left as well. Also got some GT4 cars and some sort of touring car styles in there, just to try and replicate the field of what you sort of expect to see in Brick Car. Okay then, let's go. They're giving a bit of room. Let's get on with it. Try and find our way past some of these slower guys and really show what this Praga is all about. Now, this version of the car isn't the version you guys have in game. It's got a bit more power to reflect the turbo version of the R1. So we're running about 380 horsepower or so. As you can see, the guys all bunching up right now. I'm going to take advantage of this and just sneak up a couple of places. After a couple of laps, that won't be the case. And you can see already that's a Maserati GT4 there, just how small we are in comparison. Look how diddy we are. You feel quite vulnerable driving around in VR here, not gonna lie. My tyres are super cold right now because I've been just sort of cruising around. Oh man, yep, very, very cold tyres. Let's try and get some temperature into them, shall we? Try and have a little bit of fun. Lotus in front, we're gonna get past that, and a Cayman as well. There's GT4 driving in a Brick Car last year. I'm not sure if it will be there this year or not. And this is where having pretty much zero weight really comes into play. You can just drive past some of these cars here. I think we may be a little bit quick down the straights compared to how the real car is at the moment, but still, it's nice to be able to compete with some of the GT cars in a car that weighs under 700 kilograms. So through T1 here at Silverstone, it's 5th gear, progressively back onto the throttle. Let the car just scoot out to the left, right there, and then harden the brakes. You can use 3rd gear sometimes, but I like to use 2nd gear because it's a nice little punch off the corner. Got to stay behind this GT2 Ferrari for now, so we'll do that. Second gear through there. Again, you can use third if you want. This car has quite a bit of torque actually, so you don't find yourself having to use low gears too much. And then we just yoke down the straight. Now, that's interesting. So the Nissan GTR that I'm putting by, hello mate, there is actually one of those being entered into Britcar next season. So I'll be really interested to see how this thing compares, given that the GTR GT3, of course, is sort of my my favourite GT3 car. So we do have traction control in this car, but it's sort of set to be quite... it'll only save you at the last minute sort of thing, so you still have quite a bit of slip, which is nice. Heavy brake on the way in, peel off to the apex. Oh, a little bit too severe there. Something that I've learned about driving this car already, although, again, it may not quite be fully representative of the version that I'm going to drive in real life, is that how smooth you have to be with this car. It's not a car that's being thrown around too much. It's that sort of your basic downforce car, I suppose, where it's all about just making sure you carry a little bit of corner speed in, get that downforce working, then just smooth on your input, especially on throttle. So easy to get this car sideways on the throttle there. You've got a AMG and a Porky Boy having a little bit of a scrap. Leave these guys to it. Oh, excuse me. Sneak through. The AMG isn't going to turn in on me because it's clever, and then we'll go on for another lap. But this is basically what I've been doing in my free time off stream. So I'll finish a stream at say like 10 in the evening or 11 in the evening, and I'll jump on here for an hour and just get used to being in the car. As I said, we are sort of working on another version of this car for a different simulator, hopefully using some real data as well, which is super exciting because that means we can get as close as we possibly can to what the real thing's going to feel like. But for now, this is a really nice way of just acclimatizing myself with, you know, being this little Diddy go-kart driving around and just sort of being in the cockpit. That's something the VR does super well, is it puts you in the car. Like, I know from your end it's a 2D image, but for me this is all 3D. I can see how far it is to the wheel in front of me and to the car in front as well. I have an actual idea of space, and it's a really nice way of sort of virtually getting to sit in the car and just feel it out a little bit. You know, this is something that wasn't really available a couple of years ago, and now it's around everywhere. Goodbye, GTR. There you go. Nice through there. Now, those tyres got a nice bit of heat in them now. I thought I'd take the soft tyre because it's only a short race and have a little bit of fun, but I've been doing the majority of my practice on the harder compounds. More fuel in the car as well. There you go, a little bit of a slide through there. So we've got an Evora in front of us. GT4 car. It's nice having that grunt down the straight. This version doing 260 k's down the straight. I think they'll be a bit closer to 240 really in the real car. But again, it's all about just starting to get used to the idea of driving one of these things. Because for me, because I know that, you know, people have talked about it. You know, I've only done a little bit of driving, a little bit of racing. I'm sort of going into this quite high-level car with not very much experience, and I understand that that's a big step. So I'm, you know, doing the things that I can do in the world that I know to try and prepare myself the best I can. That's the most I can do. You know, I'm really taking this as seriously as I can take it, because this is a dream for me. And if I have to sit down every day and do 150 laps in this car on a simulator, I will do that to get better and to be better. Really, I think Britcar, it's just about being consistent. It's not about going out there smashing those lap times every lap. It's just about putting yourself in a good position, keeping the car safe, of course, and hopefully being consistent. That's all you can really ask for. There you go, starting to catch some of the faster guys now that broke away. And it's good multi-class practice as well, and I can say genuinely, and you might laugh at this, that I think that my experience driving in iRacing, RF2, anything, you know, in the sort of highest class of car in multi-class races has really prepared me to do that, to understand how multi-class works. We've got the run on this car here, so we're going to take him up the inside. Not run him out too wide, leaving the room on the outside, keep a quite tight line. He's got room. There you go, nice. I genuinely think that is, you know, there is a theory to it, and I kind of know the theory. It's got to just hone it now in the real world. But yeah, I hope this video is sort of giving you an idea of what I can expect, you know, what you can expect to see, I suppose, of me in this car in real life. It has sort of helped me a little bit in numbing a little bit of that intimidation and a little bit of insecurity about, oh my god, I'm going to get into a big fast race car, I'm scared, because I am a little bit, honestly. But I'm also super excited as well. I think that's the right combination, like, you know, enough fear to respect that you're driving something that is extremely quick, but also the passion and the drive, if you excuse the really great pun and big old drift, to make yourself better at it, you know. And I'm going to do as much as I can to do that. Well, last lap of the race. Let's have a good one. Cheeky. Saw a couple of the Parker guys doing that in the Brit car review. Looked a bit scary, but it works. And the thing is, once you start, you can rag this thing. I'm trying to drive the car as I would in real life. I'm not going to be oversteering up every corner because, yeah, just risky, isn't it? But you can do that in the sim version. It's quite a lot of fun just to yoke it around some of the corners, really get a little bit of a drift on. But yeah, mad old thing, this car really is, and I cannot wait to get behind the wheel for the first time and proper experience what it's like to drive the R1. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I know it's a bit more serious than my sort of content of late, but as you can probably tell, I'm quite hyped up by all this. So really just enjoying this process of learning and understanding one specific car the best I can in preparation for, you know, the real thing. I just think it's a really cool experience to get to live, and hopefully you guys get to enjoy the content that comes from it. And if you guys did enjoy the video at any point, I'd appreciate you just tapping that like button. You can subscribe as well if you like. There should be some real life content with this car coming very soon. And as always, I've got to say a massive thank you to all the channel members and Patreons, all those people who've just been supporting me these last years, because none of this could have happened without you. So the way I see it, you're a part of this as well. Take care, have an awesome day, and I'll see you all next time.